Hey, welcome back to the second portion of how to overcome overwhelm during the holidays with 3 life coaching tools. I did not know what life coaching was before I got life coaching. And essentially, there are tools to help you with your brain because your brain is your central processing unit and your brain is the director of your body, of your hormones, of all the reactions that are happening. And so when you learn to use your brain in a more effective and efficient way without shame and guilt and all those procrastination and people pleasing and all of those difficulties that we had as kids, we can get more clarity, more done, and we can be more creative and just really enjoy our life, hence life coaching. So these 3 tools are really, really helpful. And I have a whole bunch of these tools that I have inside my lifetime membership, which at the end I'll talk about. But I really want to serve people and help people. And we have a lot of really good things as creatives we want to do. And we don't need to be wasting our time with old habits that really do get us into sabotage and get us into sabotage and inaction. And we're not really fulfilling our life how we want to. So I made this video for you, this video training, and I have it in a Google Doc because I want you to be able to use that and write in it and actually apply this to your life. Are you ready? Okay, let's go. So the first tool is called decision fatigue. Now, our brain, just like our phones, only have so much power, right? We start the day most likely with a fully charged phone. If we use it all the time, then we run out of juice and then then it just won't work. It's the same thing with our brain. If we're using our brain a whole bunch and having to make new decisions and reevaluating the decisions and all of that, how many times by 5:30 you're like, oh my goodness, I'm spent. I am so tired, right? It's because you're using up a lot of that brain juice. Psychologists talk about decision fatigue in the American Medical Association from Dr. McLean. He said, decision fatigue is the idea that after making many decisions, your ability to make more decisions over the course of a day becomes worse. The more decisions you have to make, the more fatigue you develop and the more difficult it can become. Okay, so where are all my late night shoppers or late night snackers binge watching Netflix? And you're just like, why did I do that? The problem is you didn't have a plan or you have exhausted that energy. This is what I want you to do. Coming up for the holidays, there are a lot of decisions to be made. So Christmas parties, are you going to attend and host? What about baking exchanges or who are you shopping for? How much are you going to spend on them? How many presents are you going to be making? How many are you going to be buying? What are you going to eat or what you're not going to eat? What about volunteering? What about your contribution? How much time, money, and effort are you going to give? And making that decision ahead of time is going to be so helpful. What about Secret Santa? Are you going to do the 12 days of Christmas? Drop off gifts? What is that decision? How much screen time are you going to have? What favorite movies are you going to watch? If you're going to be asked to volunteer at the last minute, what are you going to say? So I just had a whole list of things to consider. And what I recommend is to put 10 minutes or an hour if you want on your phone or on a timer and just say, okay, what is that going to look like? Now, before in lesson 1, we talked about what is your regular Christmas if it's frazzled or frenzy or you just put your head in the sand. I don't know what it is versus the one that you want. And so all of these questions I want you to answer them in the view of who you want to become. Also, being realistic with you is I do have a calendar here in the Google Doc, but if you wanted to time capture, just even for a day or two, look at realistically, how long does something take? Because as humans, we tend to not really know how long something takes. How long does a binding take on a quilt? How long does it take to make Christmas cards? If you can start just being more mindful, I went to the grocery store, whatever errand or project you're working on, you can start really looking at that way you know it's not realistic or it is realistic. And then I always think I like to plan for unexpected things. Also, what are the most important things? So those are really a good consideration. Now, the second tool for life coaching is making decisions. So with that decision fatigue, I want you to make decisions now. You are the CEO of your own life. So these questions will help you as you want to make those decisions. What am I committed to doing this Christmas? What do I want to feel at the end of December 25th? What is required of me to feel those feelings? What can I do every day to continue these feelings? And what are the thoughts that create these feelings? Here are the people I'm going to buy presents for. This is what I'm going to buy. This is what I'm going to make. I just did this with one of my clients. She's making 2 duffel bags, a quilt, and a laptop cover. She made a list of everything that she needed to buy, all the zippers, all the fabric. Then she did an inventory of how long approximately it will take to make. Plus she added 20% because there's always delays. And she's on track now to accomplishing that. And that's one of the reasons why I also wanted to make this training for you. It is wonderful to have the Christmas presents, but we have to give ourselves some training, some support, some help to accomplish that. And then the other question I have on here is belief and self-trust. So how much do you believe that you're going to accomplish that? And how much do you trust yourself? What I would say is writing those down and then paying attention to that. And our higher brain always wants to solve problems. So when you're aware of, I really trust myself to do, the higher brain says, this is a problem that we want to solve. And so maybe when you're having a shower, ironing or cooking, you will get ideas and thoughts. That's your higher brain. So here's the calendar goal. I love it. All right. The next one is reverse engineer what you want Christmas to look like. When we can reverse engineer, then we say, start with the end in mind. This is what I want my Christmas to look like. So in order for me to have this, I need to do these things. Go to that perfect Christmas and write down all the things that would need to happen. And then write down all the things that tend to happen and start breaking it down one by one. Even if you took one that is a problem, even if you worked and there was like 8 of them, but if you did one this year and then another one next year, in 8 years, you're going to have the most amazing Christmas, right? Just keep learning. We talked about managing expectations of yourself, managing expectations of others, looking at your budget, being realistic, factor inflation, look at the bigger picture. What do you really want? Do we need to be the nurse here in triage? Like, is this actually important or not? And then the last thing I want to say on this tool of reverse engineering, it's really important to be honest with yourself. And I always want to put honesty with compassion. Okay? My dad says honesty without compassion is aggression. That negative self-talk is one of the reasons why we fall into overwhelm, because we don't want to be in our own brain. It's not a very healthy and happy place. Okay. So to avoid all of that negativity, we overconsume, we overbusy, we overcommit, we exhaust ourselves. We don't have to feel so much. We might overeat. We might overspend. We might people please, whatever those things are, because we don't want to be in here. And truly, our brain is our best asset. And so really being able to sit with that is going to make a huge difference. All right. The third life coaching tool is math versus drama. Everything we do in life is because we want to feel a certain way. Yes, you want to make homemade gifts to accomplish certain things because you want to feel connected, joyful, happy, accomplished, satisfied. And the reason that we start hustling, freaking out about it, is because we don't want to feel disappointed, frustrated, upset, or whatever those negative emotions are. Now, as a life coach, one of the other tools that I have is this little sneak one in order to have a healthy, balanced life, we need to have 50% of our life is good, but we also now have to have the opposite. So to be happy, you also have to have space for being sad. To be interesting, there also has to be some place for monotony. We have to be willing to have both in order to have that balanced life, or else we're tipped. And that is why we have such a problem in our society. We've never had such bad mental health. We are so off kilter. We don't understand how to hold space for the discomfort, right? It's just part of life. In order to be big, there has to be a contrast, right? There has to be small. And that is just one of the laws of nature. Allowing yourself the opportunity to feel uncomfortable also allows you the opportunity to feel amazing. So with the math versus drama, I want you to think about all the feelings that you want. Now, we can't buy happiness. Marketers want you to believe that. You know where your feelings come from? The only place your feelings come from, 100%, is your thoughts. Now, we have sensations, right? I can feel this is really hot. That's a sensation. Like if you burn your finger or if it's cold, that's different. That's like I said, a sensation versus a feeling comes from your thoughts. And I'm going to show you this to you because if I said to you, you're so talented. If you don't believe you're talented, I could say that until the cows come home. So I could find all the different reasons why you're talented, but if you don't believe it, it's not going to land, right? So I really want you to go through this activity of writing down the 5 feelings that you want to feel at Christmas. And then they don't come from buying more fabric. They don't come from getting a really fancy sewing machine. They don't come from people saying you're amazing. They come from your own thoughts. So say, for example, I want to feel calm. Then my thought would be, I got this. I can feel panic and it's okay because on the other side of panic is calm, right? Those are all thoughts that create the feeling of calm. So I want you to go do that exercise. Now, with the math versus drama, I have a practical activity here for you. Remember how I talked about all the different factors? So we're going to take the one decision of Christmas cards. So we're going to go, instead of drama of like, oh, then I have to do the Christmas card so much and my husband doesn't even help and people don't even care and I don't even get Christmas cards from people. We could go with the drama of it all. And I have to do it. And then the printer, and the cost of post-it, and the mailbox, and the lineup was so long. We could go on and on about all the drama. Or we could just do them. We can say, do I want to do Christmas cards or not? Yes or no? Then it's like, okay, if you say yes, then that means you go to the next one. Do I want to include a Christmas letter? Yes or no? If it means a Christmas letter, that's probably an hour, right, of my time. And then do I want a photo? So yes or no. So if you say yes, it usually will mean booking a photographer, styling the kid, yourself, and then picking a photo or printing off photos and creating the time to pick up the photos and then put them in an envelope. So every step of the way you say, okay, do I want to send a Christmas card? Yes. Okay. Will I do it paper or, so you just make decisions. And then with those decisions, you can say, okay, if I do that, then here is what I need to make my plan. So I need to buy the Christmas cards by a certain date. Then I have to write them and address them. And then I need to go to the post, print them off, and then print off the pictures. So when you just get the math of it all and you say, okay, me saying yes now to Christmas card involves 15 hours. Do I have 15 hours to put into this effort for my Christmas? And you say, this has been my normal dance and this is what I want. So then you can look at both. Thank you so much for joining me. This was a lot because I'm teaching you those 3 tools. Plus, I gave you a lot of practical things to do. And I want you to see my next video where I talk about what happens in the lives of people who actually apply these tools. I'm going to share some success tools and I'm going to show how you too can create this kind of result. So if you want to see how this all ties in with creating the life that you really want, come and check it out. I will see you in the next video.